Hello, folks. Welcome to my channel. This is Paradigm. Today, I want to talk about what the correlation is between Filipinos having a lot of children, especially from the past till now, and Western men gullibility to Filipinas, emphasizing the importance of careful mate selection. I will also talk about how the times have changed, as well as the mindset of this modern age. Number one, Philippines cultural expectations and economic pressures. Filipino families tend to be large due to a variety of historical, cultural, and economic reasons. The majority religion in the Philippines is Catholicism, which places a strong emphasis on marriage, family, and procreation. Even in lower class or rural areas where resources may be limited, having a large family is often seen as a sign of prosperity, and children are considered blessings. Having more children can be viewed as a practical choice in rural areas as it provides additional labor for family businesses or agricultural work. These kids frequently start contributing to the family economy at a young age, which helps to maintain the household's finances. Furthermore, community support and extended family structures are typical in Filipino culture. Larger families are encouraged to ensure future security because parents frequently rely on their children to care for them in their later years. This creates a vicious cycle. But the harsh economic realities of the Philippine life can also push some people, particularly those living in underdeveloped areas, to look outside of their country for financial assistance. Many people seek relationships or financial connections with expats, especially Western men who are perceived as having greater wealth and financial stability as a result of economic challenges like poverty and a lack of employment opportunities. Over time, the Philippines has undergone notable demographic shifts, as evidenced by the recent decline in the average number of children per woman, which was 4.1 in 1993 to 1.9 in 2017. Numerous factors such as changes in social norm and economic pressures are blamed for this decline. Living condition in rural versus urban areas also affect average family size. Families in rural areas typically have 2.2 children versus 1.7 in urban areas. Greater family sizes have significant ramifications, particularly when considering a developing country. Larger families frequently experience difficulties with financial stability, which can worsen problems with poverty and children's limited access to resources and education. Large families in the Philippines can drastically lower household savings, which further hinders the country's ability to make investments and spur economic growth. Number two, the role of overseas Filipino workers, OFWs. The remittances. With millions of Filipino workers overseas to send money home to their families, the Philippines is home to one of the biggest populations of overseas family Filipino workers worldwide. For many Filipino families, these remittances are a vital source of income, and they make a substantial economic contribution to the country. The practice of looking overseas for financial assistance has deep cultural roots because many Filipinos view other nations as stable and prosperous economic environments. Some of the same dynamics might be present in romantic relationships between Filipino women and Western men. Scams can target Western men, especially those who are looking to date Filipino women online. These scams typically occur when a woman poses as in need of financial support for her family or herself. This is where the similarities between large families and the financial strain they put on become apparent. The scam frequently revolves around the idea of helping a big, struggling family, knowing that appealing to the Western man's desire to help can make him more susceptible to exploitation. The scammer plays on his emotions. Number three, the susceptibility of Western men to scams. Western men, especially those from wealthier nations, could be considered easy pickings for con artists due to the idea that living in the West entails wealth and stability. Some men, who are frequently older and socially isolated, may use online dating services or look for romantic relationships with women from other nations, such as the Philippines, where they feel that the cultural norms surrounding relationships and families may be similar to their own. Western men who seek romantic relationships with people from different cultural backgrounds may be more susceptible to scams for a number of reasons. A. Cultural idealization. Some men in the West have an idealized view of women from nations such as the Philippines, considering them to be more devoted, traditional, and family oriented than women from their own countries. They may become blind to warning signs like demands for money or fabricated tales of financial hardship as a result of this idealization. B. Emotional vulnerability. Scammers frequently take advantage of these men's emotional weaknesses, especially those who are lonely or looking for committed relationships. Scammers can instill a sense of obligation and urgency in their victims by appealing to their emotions, which increases the likelihood that they will send gifts or money. C. Lack of awareness. It is possible that a large number of Western men are unaware of the harsh economic conditions that exist in the Philippines and other developing nations. This ignorance can result in a credulous reaction when someone they know or think they know requests financial support. Scammers occasionally use elaborate stories, phony photos, and fake profiles to trick their victims. This creates a facade that can be challenging to break through without a deeper comprehension of the cultural context. Number four, the intersection of culture and economics in scams. The intersection of family values from culture and the economic realities that many Filipinos face lies at the core of the problem. Scammers frequently take advantage of these relationships by appealing to Western men's assumptions that Filipino women are helpless and focused on their families. Scammers sometimes pose as mothers of large families who are having a hard time supporting their kids and ask their victims for money. It's possible that Western men are ignorant of the frequency and sophistication of these scams, especially if they are not familiar with the socioeconomic conditions in the Philippines. Many Western men can relate to the story of the struggling mother or hardworking daughter, and they may feel compelled to morality to help. This sets up a perfect storm where scammers can take advantage of their targets' emotional vulnerability as well as societal norms supporting large families. Number five, the impact of technology and globalization. Social media and the internet have made it simpler for Filipinos to interact with people worldwide, including men from the West. Social media and dating websites give con artists a ready made environment in which to operate, enabling them to simultaneously target numerous victims all over the world. These platforms also make it simpler for con artists to create captivating stories to go along with these fictitious profiles and well chosen photos, giving the impression that their scams are more authentic. Scammers target Western men more often because of the perception that they are wealthy and able to support their families, which is another effect of globalization. Media representations of Western lifestyles frequently perpetrate this belief, which can lead to erroneous assumptions about the financial capacity of Western men. Number six, combating scams and addressing vulnerabilities. In order to combat these scams, awareness and educations are needed. To identify possible scams, Western men must have a thorough understanding of the cultural and economic landscape of the Philippines. One way to lessen the chance of falling for these scams is to cultivate a healthy skepticism about online relationships, particularly those that entail requests for money or financial support. Systemic changes will be necessary for Filipinos to address the underlying causes of these scams, which are poverty and a lack of economic opportunities. The financial strain that leads some people to engage in scam can be lessened by expanding access to chances for work, healthcare, and education. Furthermore, raising awareness of the negative effects that these scams have on the victims, as well as the larger community, can aid in discouraging involvement in them. In summary, although there isn't a direct link between Western men falling victim to scams and Filipino having large families, it is possible to understand both phenomena as a result of intricate interactions between complex social, economic, and cultural dynamics. In the Philippines, cultural expectations and financial necessity frequently lead to large families, whereas emotional and cultural factors linked to Western men's susceptibility to scams make them prime candidates for abuse. we can start addressing the underlying causes and lessen the frequency of these scams by comprehending these dynamics. All right, folks, that is all for today's show. Thank you for watching as always. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so my message could be spread out to other people. Until next time, thank you.